building your sphere of influence, like I said, it is probably one of the most important things that you can do as a real estate investor. I mean, the most, number one. Okay, out of everything, it's like, oh, I got to learn how to wholesale. Oh, I need to go get money. No, you need to. That's one of the most important things. Build your network, because the size and strength of your network will directly determine how many deals you can do and how fast you can make money, how much those deals will cost you, and what your profits are. I mean, that is it.
Yes,
Number
and how
one.
to minimize the cost when you do run into a problem. I'm just going to add that to your list.
I am Christina Suter, and this is the Real Estate Breakthrough Show, where we talk about the reality of real estate, the mindset you need in order to face the reality of what it is, and tips and tricks to get you moving forward in investing. I am your host, Christina Suter.
Hey you, this is Christina Suter on Real Estate Breakthrough, and I have my personal friend Kevin Oliver with me. Kevin, I want to let you run through your background, but since you're about as old as a sequoia, please just keep it really short.
I know. I'm in competition for, we won't even go there.
It's all the gray hair. It's all the gray hair, dude. I mean, come on.
You know, when I started in real estate, I was like, I had all my hair and I was very, very dark hair. Now, this is what happened.
The reality of real estate, it is finally deeply set in. But you've done a lot of things. So give us an overview of the things that you've done.
Oh my gosh. Well, guys, I guess I'm going to start really in my background. My background's in computers, my master's in technical project management. I was the top issues manager for North America for GE Consumer Finance. So I have a really good finance and background. I helped build their loan origination system, stuff like that. But when I left GE, I ended up going into real estate as an investor and built up as a wholesaler. And I mean, there's a whole story on how I went into wholesale, but I was way in debt and everything else, and high interest credit card debt and all that stuff. But that's not the point here. But I did start as a wholesaler, and I ended up building about a $1.4 million wholesale business a year. Not bad, right? Well, I wanted to get better. And so, hey, got to keep growing, right? We're building our empire. That's what our topic is.
Building your empire using your circle of influence. That's right.
There you go. And then from there, I started flipping homes. To date, I've probably done 220, 230 homes in multiple states. Started holding homes, started doing commercial. I do a lot of transitional housing right now, which I really, really enjoy, as well as my other holdings, don't get me wrong. But, and then somebody told me to come be a realtor, and I became a realtor on accident, and never wanted to be a realtor, by the way. And then eventually became a broker and an instructor and a coach, national speaker and national coach now.
Yeah. I mean, you've spoken at some incredibly large conventions. I mean, what's the size of the audiences you've spoken to?
Oh gosh, anywhere from a couple of hundred to, I think my largest is 3,000, 4,000, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, you've talked to incredibly large. I mean, since I've run a meeting, I know how hard it is just to get 50 people in the room, which is in February, right? There's going to be 50 people in the room that are going to come see you.
There you go.
Right. And so that's good. But I mean, you've talked on incredibly large platforms, been invited in multiple different places. It's not just your stories. It's actually depth of knowledge as well.
Well, they always say it's really hard, that I always say, think of them in their underwear. but no, other than that, circle of influence is so important. Whether you're on the investor side, you're on the realtor side, I don't care. It's all in real estate. Let's talk real estate as a whole. Right. Sphere of influence. So what is sphere of influence? Okay. It's basically anybody that anybody that you're involved with here. Start with your mother and father, your cousins, your brother, your uncle, your uncle's dog. I mean, this is all of your sphere of influence, as well as people you work with, people you run in the street. My wife used to laugh at me because, matter of fact, the other day, we were at this grocery store called Winco. And I don't know if you have them in your area, but we have them here. And I'm standing there, and there's this lady, this black lady that's standing behind me. And I'm very famous for turning around and saying, "Hi, my name is Kevin. What's your name?"
That's Right.
And I introduced myself to this lovely young lady, and she told me her name, and I said, and the next question in my office, well, what do you do? And she told me she was a nurse and she did NICU for the babies.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, that's incredible.
That
Tell
is
me
great.
about that. So I just do that. And then of course, what is she going to ask me? Well,
What do you
what
do?
do I do? Right. Well, let me tell you. Here's my card. Let me know if you ever need anything. You have friends that need anything. Da 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 da. There's that whole thing. Well, there adds on to my sphere of influence.
That's right.
You need to expand, because as a real estate investor, okay, whether you're a wholesaler, whether you're a flipper, whether you're a buy and hold, I don't care. There's the gambit of investing, notes, whatever. You need to have a sphere of influence to bring those in. If you're a rehabber, you need wholesalers, you need realtors, you need people that just know you're in real estate. I'd have to say probably 80 to 90%. If you're in the investor side, 80 to 90%, if not more, of your sphere, it's going to be your sphere of influence that brings you your business, brings you your deals, brings you your money, brings you everything.
That's right.
Then you have your support,
deals, your money, your professionals that work with you, your team. They're gonna, whether you're trying to do a smaller job or a larger job, as soon as you need a team around you, it is your sphere of influence you're going to pull from.
Absolutely. And then once you're in the deals, you're going to have clients that say, do you have a plumber? Do you have a handyman? Do you have this or that? And as an investor, you're going to need to work with your partners to be able to get this flip done, or get your rental up to date, or whatever. If maybe you're refinancing and you're doing something like that. And then you have your vendors that you work with that are also going to be bringing you business. So you need to have really, really good vendors. Like, I know you and we've done stuff together. And there's a lot of times where I'll call, hey, Christina, do you, or vice versa, Kevin, do you have a really, really good plumber? Do you know somebody here or there? Absolutely.
Or people ask me about
I get calls daily.
Right? They ask me about Bakersfield or Kern County or land or ag, anything. Bakersfield, Kern County, ag, real estate agent, wholesaling, flipping in single families. I'm like, this is Kevin. I know Kevin can answer a question on any one of these. And I know that Kevin's willing to give his time to answer questions on any one of these. And that.
So yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, so I was going to say, a lot of times people think, oh, it's just regular people out there, like say if you're a wholesaler, that are needing, you're having a hardship and you want to get something under contract at a discount. It's not just them. It's other investors as well, and probably more so. Other investors that we're going to collaborate with each other. I work with investors all, mostly here in California, but all over the United States, just like you and I. Hey, you know what? I have 5 projects going on. I ran out of cash here. Christina, you got an extra couple of grand. Let's partner on this.
Yeah, exactly. And you've actually done that call. You actually have done that call.
I think we've had that call.
We've actually had that call. I mean, the thing is, this is such an odd topic, but I think people really don't understand. Like, you cannot do any form of real estate by yourself. You can't, even buying notes, you still need to talk to somebody. You still have somebody who is the person that's on the other end of that note. Even trying to restructure that note, you're still dealing with another individual, right? You went into a project, you went into a problem on any project, right? And you need somebody who's going to help you solve that. It's not the people, it's not even necessarily the team that you've already brought together. Maybe they have good solutions. It's who knows who on that team. I know somebody who's an expert in blah, blah, blah. Let's ask them. I know somebody who's got, who'll do private equity or hard money. Let's talk to them. Or your mentors. I know I've got lots of phone calls when somebody's like, hey, I got a problem inside my deal, Christina. What's your thoughts? And I go, well, it's X, Y, and Z, and this and that. And by the way, I almost always hang up the phone, go and call your other mentors as well. Anybody you consider to be experts in the field that can give you good advice, because real estate you run into problems. I asked Bruce Norris, I didn't ask him. I was at a meeting. Somebody else asked Bruce Norris once, how many times do you run into a problem on your flips? Right? He's done over 2,000. How many problems? How many times do you run into a problem on your flips? He went,
All of
you mean
them.
every flip? And he's like, yeah. He's like, oh, but 19 out of 20.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Building your sphere of influence, like I said, it is probably one of the most important things that you can do as a real estate investor. I mean, the most, number one. Okay, out of everything, it's like, oh, I got to learn how to wholesale. Oh, I need to go get money. No, you need to. That's one of the most important things. Build your network, because the size and strength of your network will directly determine how many deals you can do and how fast you can make money, how much those deals will cost you, and what your profits are. I mean, that is it.
Yes,
Number
and
one.
how to minimize the cost when you do run into a problem. I'm just going to add that to your
Absolutely.
list. So
Yeah.
now we've gone through a sort of short list as to who are the people that you need in your sphere of influence, right?
Yeah.
But one of the things that you've recently done is that you have been elected, appointed. What's the right terminology? Appointed. You've
Yes.
been appointed.
Well, there's a few other things we're trying to do too, but yes, I was appointed, and now I'm actually the president and chair this year.
Okay.
So the Kern County Civil Service Commission, that's appointed by the Board of Supervisors, and we oversee all the county employees. That's your sheriffs, your fire department, anybody that works for the county. And basically, there's good and bad.
You're going to be the one in charge.
No, I'm this year. I already took
this
the gavel.
This year, you're the one in charge. Forgive me. This year, you're the one in charge. To make it really simple for those of us who are not experts in political systems and maybe only understand real estate, but understand how important it is to be involved with political systems.
Yes. Yeah. And but it's just what it does is expands my reach, not just in the private sector, but in the public sector now.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm talking with all the county employees. I'm talking, and if they need real estate advice, they know I'm in real estate. So, or I let them know I'm in real estate.
Well, and what got you there, if I may?
But it's not just that also, but it gives you now, because there'll be times where, say, I'm on TV because of this position, because I also sit on the city side on the commission. I'm working on, and I do a lot of giving and gift giving, what it allows me to do is get into some of the larger functions, such as this last week I was at State of the Union, or not State of the County. It's like State of the Union, but it's for the county. Right. And then prior to that, I was at the mayor's ball.
And
this week.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And who was at the State of the Union, State of the County?
You have every major leader within the city and the county. You have all their directors, all of the big money people. And I have to tell you, these guys that are investing, guys, these are the ones with the money. I'm not going to go down to, generally, we have a lot of homeless. We're trying to work on that as well. But I'm not going to go up to a homeless guy and say, hey, you want to wholesale a deal? I mean, come on, I might give him some water. I might give him a jacket. I might help him.
Yeah.
But the guys that we need to work with are the ones that are able to work with that. And it gives us a lot more flexibility in regards to being more known in the area of my expertise, which is real estate. So I can go to these functions, and I constantly, number one question I get asked every day and multiple times a day when I go to these functions, like I'll be at the Hispanic Chamber this weekend, the black tie affair. I've worn my tux 3 times since January 1st already.
I don't feel sorry for you. I don't.
I know.
Yes. Go ahead.
But the number one question is, hey, Kevin, how you doing? How's the real estate market?
How's the real estate market? What do you suggest we should do?
It's
What's
great.
the head going to look like?
Because they have questions in regards to the Fed. You know, that the Fed just raised it 0.25%.
That's right. They did. They raised it 0.25%. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I am seen as an expert in my industry, and being in public position, I sit on the Police Activities League board. I sit on 2 commissions. I'm trying to get on planning commission right now. So,
Good idea. Planning is a good one. That's a good one.
I like that one. I talked to several supervisors already. I've kind of got their vote, but we got to see if the position comes up. So we'll see. But other than that, it's very, very important that you be not just in those type of positions, but getting involved in charities, what your personal charity is. That's huge.
That's where I was going to go next. I was going to say,
Yeah.
look, we can talk about all the advantages of you being there now that you've landed, but let's talk about part of how Kevin got there. It's being in the community, it's paying it forward, it's giving to the charities. Let's talk about how you got there.
I didn't start as a commission. I didn't start as a commissioner.
Right, you didn't start as a commissioner. So let's talk about how you built it.
Yeah. It started out, I guess I was started out by going to church, believe it or not.
No,
I was in church. I was involved in my church a lot. We started doing different things with and building different things, outreach programs. And one of them was called the Flood Ministries. Another one was a feeding program that we had for some of the needy and transit, well, some of the people that are coming through the county. And so I ended up sitting on the board. I got nominated to the board of the Salvation Army.
Okay.
And I sat there for a while, and then I ended up, the major Ebel at the time says, Kevin, you're in real estate and stuff. Would you help sit on our executive board and help run our real estate? And I said, absolutely. Well, how can I help?
Yeah,
and so I sat on the executive board there and actually went and helped run the real estate that they own.
Okay.
And so that got a little bit more knowledge. And from there, I went to several other charities.
And these are all volunteer positions. Like, let's be clear.
This is all volunteer.
This is all volunteer positions.
No pay.
You're running a real estate portfolio on volunteer.
Absolutely.
As a
on volunteer basis.
That's right. And it's not a small portfolio because it belongs, right, to the Red Cross.
Exactly. Now, Salvation Army has different charity events. Now you go to these events, you start meeting other people.
Yeah. One
of the other things is I started giving some money to different things. One of them was the Police Activities League. Mm-hmm. I have some of the things that's near and dear to my heart is at-risk youth. Okay, so I do a lot of stuff with the Boys and Girls Club. I do a lot of things with the Police Activities League. And I was asked to sit on the board for the Police Activities League. Still volunteer, guys.
Volunteer, that's right.
But guess what? I'm sitting with the chief of police. I'm sitting with his lieutenants and his commanders, and I'm talking with all and getting to know them. And they're, more importantly, are getting to know me. And that is when you start getting involved into the community. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I got the chance to meet this very, very dear friend of mine. And we both like smoking cigars. But and Jeremy, surprised. I'm gonna throw Not Jeremy surprised. Under the bus because his name is Jeremy Price. You can look him up. But he's the general manager for one of the larger radio stations up here. But he also, at that time, sat as the president of the Civil Service Commission for the County of Kern.
Right.
And him and I had sat for many, many months talking about different things. And he said, Kevin, there's a position opening up on the board. I think you would be really good for that. And I said, really? Tell me about this board, or commission, excuse me. And he told me about it. And I said, yeah. I said, I think that'd be great. How do I do that? He says, well, we need to go talk to one of the supervisors. So he talked to one of the supervisors and his chief of staff. And this is several months. It just didn't happen overnight. Oh. Several months later, his chief of staff called me. I said, Kevin, the President Price said, that you're a good person in the community. We've done a lot of things, and then we named off the, Police Activities League, Salvation Army, this and that, and involvement in this. And I said, yeah, that is what I've done. And I explained a little bit more. And he said, well, why would you want this position? And I told him that, I want to give back and help and give, all the right reasons, right?
Okay.
And he
And
says, all
those
right, we
reasons
can
are
give you,
important. I'm going to end
very
this
important.
little speech with that conversation. Go ahead. You keep talking.
Yes.
Okay, all
And
the right
then
reasons.
all the right reasons. And he says, all right, I want to set up a meeting with the supervisor. And I said, okay. And we got our calendars together and I met supervisor. At that time, it was supervisor Mike Maggart. He's he's not a supervisor anymore. Jeff Flores is now. But Jeff was his chief of staff. But he got elected this last year. But I met with Mike Maggart at the time, and he says, President Price talks very highly of you. I would like to possibly appoint you. And I said, oh, thank you, sir. And he did. He appointed me to the commission. Several years later, I get, and Commissioner Rose says, oh, Kevin will make a great VP. So I became vice president, did 2 years of that under the other president. And then it's normal for you to get into the president if you want to. And so I ended up being president this year. So that's how I ended up being president for the county.
Right.
Now I'm visible to all the supervisors and city councilmen and women. So I get a call from Councilman Chris Parlier. He's retired now, but he was a councilman at that time from the city of Bakersfield. And he says, Kevin, we have a large trial coming up. We only have 4 commissioners, and none of them have ever done a trial before. Okay, I've done several on the county side. He said, would you do me a favor and come and apply for this position, and we'll make you a city commissioner? And I went, okay, Chris.
Okay.
So I did. I went, I got appointed, and now I'm a city commissioner and I'm a county commissioner. So, and that just gives you a lot more exposure and a lot more deals coming to you because you know so many people.
Because you know so many people. And the thing I really want to highlight is almost all of that was volunteer.
Yes.
All that was because
and it's still volunteer.
And still volunteer. All that is because you're willing to participate. Now, if you were somebody, and I have to say this, if you were somebody whose primary interest was the reason why I'm here is to make deals, the reason why I'm here is to get rich.
Yeah, it's not about that.
You can't do it. Like, how you grow your real estate. Like I have this thing, which is how you the integrity you treat your network with.
Absolutely.
Is how you grow your net worth.
Yes, and I agree with that wholeheartedly because, I have a large following, in social media, which that brings on as well. But there's so many people that I will walk into a room. Matter of fact, I just joined a new networking group. I was asked to come into it. Yeah. I walked into the room. I already knew half of them. Or they knew me more. And they're like, oh, hey, Kevin. Hey, Kevin. I'm like, oh, hey.
Yeah,
but I will. I'll walk down. I'll go to the grocery store and they'll say, hey, you look really familiar. And I'm like, well, I work in real estate. And they're like, no, that's not it. And I say, well, I'm a commissioner. That might be it, or something, something to that effect. But I get noticed now just even walking in the grocery store. And they're like, well, you work in real estate.
I was going to say, I've noticed you for years, Kevin.
I know. Thank you.
I was among the first to notice you. No, it is so important. Like as soon as I said it, your face was like, well, of course not. If you're going to do that position from a taking position, if you're not looking to pay it forward, if you're not looking to contribute, you don't want to volunteer. I volunteer. I was a chair of a board and I was volunteering 10 to 15 hours a week being chair of that board. It was a particularly busy time for that small companies and non-profit. So I was 10 to 15 hours. Like, you need to be willing. When you were running the portfolio, it's like, hey, you know what? Let's not pay you a dime and let's have you oversee all of our holdings. This was Salvation Army, right? No, did I get it right this time?
Well, I started with Salvation Army, yes.
But the whole point is that when you're taking over somebody else's, you're actually running and overseeing a nonprofit's portfolio.
Yes, their portfolio, and
it's not a short amount of time every week.
No, right? It's not.
It's a high level of discipline. It's a high level of integrity in being willing to do what's best for the nonprofit, being willing to make sure that you're applying your time and your knowledge and your expertise to help them grow, all without being paid, all because you know it's the right thing to do.
And the thing is that if you look at it just from, I want to make more deals, that's the wrong way to look at it. I mean, by inserting yourself into many different networks, whether it's the Salvation Army, whether it's the Police Department Activities League, whether it's the Commission, whether it's, several of the other boards that I sit on, you create ways to let people know how you can help them with their real estate needs. You're there doing another job, Salvation Army, Police Activities League, things like that. But they're also human beings, and they're people, and you talk.
They're human beings, you people, and you talk.
Yes, and that's how you can let them know how you can help them with their real estate. Okay, and it just gives yourself more opportunities to strategically build your business by building a diverse community.
Yeah.
And you can give your business a better chance to by generating additional leads and all sorts of things. So, and it gives you a constant stream of potential clients.
Constant stream of
That's
potential clients.
Exactly what it is.
Yeah, and it does. We're going to talk a lot more about this in February. Later this month. Later this month, we're going to talk a lot more about it at FIBI Pasadena Real Estate. And I think that people, and I guess this is the last thing I'm going to try to roll out. People, I think maybe it's special, like, oh, Kevin can do it. It's special. He's special. Now, I happen to know you, Kevin. No. I happen to love you very dearly. And I know that you are a special and dear human being, but it's just because you talk.
I'm nothing special.
Right.
I put my pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else.
Just like everybody else. It's just the willingness.
You have to be willing
to be a leader. I keep wanting to say it's like, why are these people leaders in their community? Oh, it's because they're smarter than I am. It's because they, they work harder than I do. It's because they have a better college degree or they have more money. No,
I have to say that most people that are really, really smart don't go into politics.
That's true. That's true, actually. I have to agree with that point of view. Personally, I think, that's accurate. But the point is, what I'm trying to get to our listeners is, it's not because Kevin is particularly special or had this extra edge or his dad was in politics, right? No. I know that your family was straight up, just like working class, straight up, pretty like common, like so many of us.
I came from the other side of the tracks.
I still let you fill it in, but yeah. Yeah.
But no, it is. And it's just it's all about a mindset as well. It's mindset and your relationships with people. And I always say it's relationships over transactions is so, because your network or your database, the one that wins is the one that has the largest database. Your network is your net worth. I mean, we have all heard that so many times. And that comes from your sphere of influence, period.
Thank you, Kevin. You are the best. Thank you so much for putting together a brand new presentation to give at my club. I'm really looking forward to having you. If people want to connect with you, if they want to reach out to you and say, hi, Kevin, my name is, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, they can go to my website. They can go to yourrealtor.us. Or give me a call. I do answer my phone, 661-808-3444. That's my cell. Send me a text, send me a call, just not at 2 a.m. And 661-808-3444, or my website at yourrealtor.us.
Right. Kevin, you are the best. I've really appreciated your friendship and the deals that we have done together. And your integrity. Thank you so much. Thank you. This is Christina Suter on Real Estate.
I'm looking forward to seeing you here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, you'll see me in a couple weeks. All right. This is Christina Suter at Real Estate Breakthrough. Hopefully we brought you another guest that can help you be educated on a topic directly supporting your success inside of real estate. You can hear this on YouTube, Roku TV, Apple TV, and now Amazon TV as well. And on a variety of podcasts. I'm not even going to bother to list them. You can find me on ChristinaSuter.com or Christina Suter Instagram.